Good evening and welcome to the news. The Wednesday package comes to you live tonight from our Abuja studios. As usual, the newsroom has trained its lenses on key sectors of the economy to bring you up to speed with key initiatives, changes and opportunities for Nigerians. We'll also be in different locations across the country following the Nigerian story and bring you the undiluted version of developing events. Tonight, no step back. Federal government strengthens national security architecture.
In simple terms, we must establish a clear path from threat to objective, from objective to capability, and from capability to resource.
Safety on the seas. Nigerian Navy concludes exercise Littoral Fury. Insists maritime security is top priority.
So the issue of kidnapping, abductions, harassment, and all of those things, they don't exist anymore.
Highway hell. Minister laments road project execution in Benin-Agbo Expressway. Orders arrest of contractors who violate terms of contracts.
This is provocation that is at this highest level, where people cannot pass through the road because of greed.
A helping hand. Federal government unveils $1 billion renewed Hope Social Protection Program.
The Household Prosperity and Economic Social Protection Project is an important step towards strengthening how to identify and respond to vulnerable households facing various challenges by listening to their specific needs before taking action.
IDPs and VIPs. INEC stakeholders seek inclusion of internally displaced persons ahead of 2027 general election. And on business, Nigeria promotes more exports to China to take advantage of China's zero tariff policy on Africa. Benny Adams has the details with Badia Deleye, while Badia Deleye is standing by with latest information from the world of sports. So like we say always on this shift, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Yanri John, and this is News Extra. Welcome. Let's hit the road tonight as President Bola Tinubu has pledged his administration's readiness towards providing necessary incentives that will stimulate growth and capacity of the Nigeria liquefied natural gas, NLNG, in order to deliver benefits to the sector to Nigerians. The president made a commitment when he granted audience to the board and executive leadership of the NLNG in the State House. President Tinubu stated that his administration is also committed to converting the challenges in the sector, including gas flaring, to opportunities for the Nigerian public.
We must be able to take out the flaring and convert potential environmental liability to what could be strategically and economically beneficial to the consumers in the Republic. We look straight far into the future and believe that this country has what it takes. But whatever asset that we have in the ground is nothing unless it's brought up to service economy, the people, and realization of a good return on investment. So I don't see any other way to slice it but to work hard to encourage and incentivize your team to achieve more for the country. I think that is the primary focus. But just think of people, the need for domestication of some of these energy requirements and pricing mechanism that ordinary man will feel.
Managing Director of the NLNG, Adeleye Falade, says the priority of his board is on sustaining energy security for the country while supporting the aspiration of the current administration on domestic gas production and utilization.
Nigerian LNG continues to play at the heart of energy security for the country. So we're not only generating revenue, but we're also generating employment, but we're making cooking gas available domestically. 100% of our cooking gas in Nigeria comes into the Nigerian market, and nothing is going to change from that. You will see the board that continues to support the Nigerian agenda, making sure that the growth that we're having as a company, that growth speaks also to development of the nation. So today we're constructing Train 7. About 16,000 people working on that site. I've been working on it for years, and we're looking forward to when we will bring that train online. Bringing it online is not just about the molecule, but it's the transformation that comes with it. So the cooking gas that Mr. President said we should think about, we would add 50% capacity to that when Train 7 comes on, and we can't wait to see that happen.
Meanwhile, Nigeria and Thailand will continue to expand partnership in the areas of technology, agriculture, commerce and renewable energy. This commitment was made at a meeting between Vice President Kashim Shettima and a delegation from the Kingdom of Thailand, led by its Deputy Prime Minister, Yusuf Hassan Kawlawi. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila feeds us.
A delegation from Thailand at the presidential villa to acknowledge the existing cordial relationship with Nigeria. And Vice President Kashim Shettima used the opportunity to push for a review of existing partnerships between both countries, leveraging Thailand's comparative advantage in deploying immediate technology in agriculture and related areas.
Enormous opportunities are available in this country, in ICT, in mining, in renewable energy, in agriculture, because the whole mantra in agriculture is increase in yield, and you have excelled. I visited some farms in Thailand, rice farms, that are producing 15, 20 metric tons per hectare. And I believe entrepreneurial capitalism is embedded in the very psyche of the average Nigerian. But what our people are lacking are the skill sets and the resources to place them in Jeffrey Sachs' ladder of development. But most importantly, what fascinates me most about Thailand is the intermediate technology that is available. We still need to engage our youth.
The Thailand delegation is proposing a Thailand-Africa initiative that aims to boost relations between the Asian country and key African countries in people-to-people ties as well as economic cooperation, particularly in agriculture.
We see a lot of opportunities in Africa. We want to not just do more trade investment, we want to be a partner in terms of helping your development process. And we have experiences to offer in terms of agriculture, health, tourism. And so we want to work with Nigeria to strengthen our bilateral ties. And we want to work with Nigeria as a strategic partner in enhancing our ties with the countries of Africa, especially in the west of Africa, the ECOWAS region.
The Deputy Prime Minister, who is on his first trip to Africa, praised the ongoing transformation in Nigeria under the Tinubu administration, describing the country as a strategic partner with Thailand, a strong voice in the global south, and an emerging leader in e-commerce. Thailand is proposing a new partnership with Africa known as Thailand-Africa Initiative. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
In other news, 7.6 million Nigerians are set to benefit from a $1 billion Renewed Hope social protection program as the federal government unveils Household Prosperity and Empowerment Social Protection Project, Hope SP, as a new pathway to poverty reduction in the country. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, while unveiling the initiative, says the Bola Tinubu's administration is implementing far-reaching reforms to lay a solid foundation for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
At about 63% national figure, poverty rate in Nigeria is a critical subject matter, serious enough to attract stakeholders at the national and subnational levels as the country takes another bold step to drive poverty reduction with the official unveiling of Household Prosperity and Empowerment Social Protection Project, a $1 billion Renewed Hope Social Protection Program by Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu.
Unveil programs in the Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction Ministry.
An initiative of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction under a new national architecture, Hope SP, was unveiled alongside 4 other initiatives: one humanitarian, one poverty response system, ministerial blueprint, emergency cash transfer program, and the Humanity First magazine to improve the lives of vulnerable individuals, families, and communities across the country.
The first initiative, the Household Prosperity and Economic Social Protection Project, is an important step towards strengthening how to identify and respond to vulnerable households facing various challenges by listening to their specific needs before taking action. It is designed to provide immediate stabilization assistance while placing the households on a pathway to recovery, empowerment, and self-reliance. The second initiative is designed to provide a coordinated national response to humanitarian crisis, social protection, and poverty reduction.
Under the third and fourth initiatives of the program, identified households will benefit from emergency cash transfer program to mitigate financial shocks, while the fourth initiative, the ministerial blueprint, will provide a clear roadmap for translating the humanitarian and poverty reduction priorities of the Renewed Hope agenda into coordinated and measurable action.
The fifth initiative, the Humanitarian First magazine, is remarkable because it tells the stories of citizens whose lives have been transformed by government intervention.
How do we achieve this? It will be supported by unified data and registries, digital delivery system.
We increased spending in areas that will address the most important element of social protection.
Launching of this program will go a long way in addressing the root causes of the insurgency in Nigeria.
The ceremony adds another layer of hope for the vulnerables in the country.
Business like selling something in the house will help me very well.
I have a kiosk, and I'm trying to see how I can enlarge.
Development partners lauded the initiative with pledge of support and alliance.
With the theme from palliatives to pathways, the end goals of these interventions is to draw more Nigerians out of vulnerability to shared prosperity, translating their empowerment into a story of social protection, inclusion, and ultimately economic diversification. From the conference center of the Presidential Villa, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Adeni. Looking elsewhere now, the federal government intervention designed to reduce the cost of transportation for federal civil servants under the Renewed Hope Mass Transit Scheme is set to take off with the inauguration of 50 buses. Haman Jabani reports that the buses are from the 100 units approved by the Federal Executive Council. Haman Jabani reports.
And for the benefit of federal...
The vehicles provided by National Automotive Design and Development Council are expected to address daily commuting needs of public servants. With dedicated, affordable and reliable service, the federal government intends to ease the burden and improve punctuality across ministries, departments and agencies while promoting well-being and productivity of the workforce.
Federal civil servants will now have the benefit of a luxurious ride from home to the office.
The intervention places welfare at the center of the federal government's economic reform program.
Imagine what would have happened if we were going to import 200 of these buses. We'll be exporting, jobs abroad. But the fact that these buses are all assembled in our country, the jobs are provided.
This strategic intervention delivers an immediate, practical, safe and comfortable and highly subsidized affordable mobility solution. By introducing this type of vehicle, which the civil servant will be using with top technology available.
These buses will soon start plying the streets of Abuja as soon as the ticketing and the routes are sorted out. And civil servants are expected to make best use of this mode of transportation. And one interesting aspect of these buses is that it can cover up to 200 kilometers when the batteries are fully charged, and it can take up to 50 passengers. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, has apologized to commuters and residents of Edo and Delta states over the deplorable condition of the Benin-Agbo Road. The minister has also ordered the arrest of any contractor found removing asphalt from federal roads without authorization. The minister gave the directive in Benin during an inspection and tour of federal road projects. Good luck, Inaini reports.
This is Benin-Asaba Trunk A Road. It is a vital 125-kilometer dual carriageway linking Benin City in Edo State to Asaba in Delta State. It serves as the primary economic corridor between Nigeria South-South, Southeast, and some part of Southwest. For many years, the road has been like this until in March 2025, when the federal government awarded the contract for the construction of the road.
The Benin-Asaba Road is being handled by a concessionaire under the federal government's Highway Development and Management Initiative. Work began in March 2025 with construction and palliative measures to ease movement. However, residents say their hopes were not being met by the realities on ground due to what they described as poor performance by the contractor handling the project. They allege that the project has been abandoned entirely, leaving motorists and commuters to suffer untold hardship.
People are dying, suffering, castigating in the name of the governor when the contractor does not know his work. With only this contractor, ministers are.
At the project site, the minister expressed disappointment with the concessionaire. Senator Mahi questioned technical capacity of the company to execute the job. He apologized on behalf of the federal government and assured that restoring the road is now an immediate priority in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive.
This is provocation that is at this highest level, where people cannot pass through the road because of greed, because of lack of confidence, because of manipulation. It's a pity. I am very, very disappointed, and I offer apologies. I take full responsibility for the misdeed and for destruction of public assets.
The minister extended some commendation to Edo State youths for remaining calm despite the hardship.
And I'm directing all controllers to arrest any contractor or concessionaire that remove asphalt on our road. This road was not like this before we handed it over to you.
The Chairman Senate Committee on Work, Senator Allwell Oyenso, and his counterpart in the House of Representatives, Akin Akinlabi, assured residents of the National Assembly's support in ensuring the road is fixed. In Benin, good luck in Aini.
And still on road matters, the Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Shehu Mohammed, has charged officers of the Corps to desist from making themselves body shields or standing in front of oncoming vehicles while trying to apprehend recalcitrant drivers, urging them to be more professional in their conduct in the line of duty. He said this at a capacity building program for frontline marshals with the theme repositioning of marshals for effective service delivery. Oyeyemi Ajayi brings us details.
As the face of the Federal Road Safety Corps, the marshals, they enforce road traffic laws, manage highway safety, and reduce road traffic crashes across Nigeria, aside arresting and booking traffic offenders and prosecute violators when necessary. However, this capacity building is to ensure that the repositioning of the frontline personnel is sustained across the formations, as well as become an integral part of the core professional development and operational culture. Taking them through the training are retired senior officers who believe in the need to reposition the marshals for effective service delivery to strengthen professionalism amongst officers.
Marshals must be firm in enforcing the law while remaining respectful, patient, and measured in dealing with road users. Authority must never be confused with intimidation, just as enforcement must never become harassment.
The officers were charged against subjecting themselves to victims of insecurity, as well as avoid standing in front of moving vehicles in the name of trying to arrest offenders.
When they stop a transport operator, don't stay at the back unless with all your mind absent. They may intentionally revise and knock you down, and don't be in front. If you are for, strategize and position yourselves.
The training is being replicated across the geopolitical zones of the country. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Elsewhere, commuters and other road users plying the Makurdi-Aliade Otukpo Federal Highway, Benue State, in the early hours of Wednesday were left stranded following a disagreement between officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, and truck drivers at Aliade. It was gathered that the disagreement led to the blockage of the Aliade-Otukpo section of the federal highway by truck drivers. The action brought traffic flow to a halt and left road users waiting for several hours. Officers of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, the police and other security agencies have since been drafted to the area to restore normalcy. Away from road matters, let's talk electricity. As the federal government is taking a fresh approach to solving one of the biggest challenges confronting Nigeria's renewable energy investments, which is sustainability of projects. Energy correspondent Joshua Ojito reports that a rural electrification agency is thriving through the Renewable Asset Management Company, RAMCO, to put in place a framework to ensure publicly funded renewable energy projects remain functional long after inauguration.
Many communities, the inauguration of a solar mini-grid brings moments of excitement.
But beyond the inauguration of these projects, we ensure these assets keep working and expanding for the benefit of the communities. And that is the motive behind the unveiling of the Renewable Asset Management Company, RAMCO, to ensure that all publicly funded renewable energy projects are well managed for sustainability.
This initiative, therefore, is to tackle persistent challenges in Nigeria's renewable energy space. Projects that work at inauguration but gradually become inactive because there is no sustainable system for managing and maintaining them.
RAMCO is not designed to extract profit from public institutions. Where government has fully funded the capital asset, that capital is already sunk. The tariff, therefore, should reflect what's required to operate, maintain, renew the system over its economic life.
We must be committed not only to create, but to sustain them.
This is being developed by the Rural Electrification Agency in partnership with the Ministry of Finance Incorporated, MOFI, and Infraco, bringing together technical, financial, and infrastructure management expertise.
A mini-grid creates value when customers continue to receive reliable power and sufficient revenues are generated to operate, maintain, and eventually renew the assets.
This event today marks a major turning point in how we manage public assets.
Ramco is expected to provide a structured approach to the management, maintenance and sustainability of renewable energy projects.
Ramco is not going to be measured by how many megawatts you deliver, but the reliability of your delivery and the sustainability of that delivery. The Federal Ministry of Education remains committed to working with Rural Electrification Agency and other relevant stakeholders to ensure that our educational institutions have access to sustainable and reliable energy.
Our ambition is not simply to install solar panels or batteries. Our ambition is to build a resilient health system where the electricity infrastructure powering our facilities functions today, tomorrow, next year, and for many years to come.
Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
In other news, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's position on petrol subsidy has come under scrutiny after 3 conflicting explanations from his camp in 1 week, with critics saying the contradictions show a lack of coherent policy and amount to politicking with Nigerians' hardship. The inconsistencies began when Atiku's spokesperson, Paul Ibe, said an Atiku administration would restore petrol subsidy temporarily before phasing it out to give citizens and businesses room to recover. Hours later, senior aide Frank Shaibu disowned Ibe's statement, arguing that subsidy would remain until domestic refining expands, supply stabilizes, and the market can deliver affordable prices without government support. Atiku himself later intervened, insisting his position has not changed and that he would restore what he called a targeted subsidy to restore Nigerians' purchasing power. Analysts and government officials have faulted the argument for oversimplifying the petroleum market. They noted that pump prices are determined by global crude oil prices, exchange rates, refining, transportation and distribution costs, and not by subsidy alone. They also pointed out that food inflation persisted even when subsidy was in place, driven by insecurity, logistics, agricultural productivity, and money supply. Questions have also been raised on the technical data, with observers noting that petrol accounts for only about 45% of a crude barrel, while diesel, kerosene, jet fuel, and other byproducts make up the rest, all of which were deregulated years ago. With the economy still adjusting to subsidy removal, stakeholders are demanding specifics from Atiku on how much a targeted subsidy would cost, who would benefit, how it would be funded, and what objective benchmarks would determine its end. Stakeholders argued that Nigerians cannot afford another opaque and potentially costly subsidy regime dressed up in new language, adding that the economy is too serious for policy somersaults and election gimmicks, as stated by Bayo Onanuga. This is News Extra. We have more news shortly. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. The federal government is taking steps to strengthen Nigeria's security architecture with a new national threat assessment and 5-year strategic defense plan. The initiative, inaugurated by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, is expected to improve coordination among defense, intelligence and security agencies. Shehu Muhammad Dati reports.
Committee coordinated by the Special Advisor on Homeland Security, Major General Adedayo Famadewa, comprises the heads of Nigeria's defense, intelligence and security agencies. Its mandate is to strengthen coordination among the agencies and support a more proactive response to emerging security threats. The exercise will provide a common framework for assessing national security risks and strengthening Nigeria's defense posture.
In simple terms, we must establish a clear path from threat to objective, from objective to capability, and from capability to resource, and from resource to measurable outcome.
Major General Famadewa thanked the President for the assignment, assuring that the committee would approach its work with due diligence.
In approaching this duty or this task, we're going to be having subcommittees, and I will indulge or crave indulgence of everyone here to nominate officers of requisite seniority and competence to be members, and of course we are expecting institutional inputs.
The committee's recommendation is expected to provide the necessary framework and improve service delivery across the defense and security sector of the country. In Abuja, Musho Muhammad Detti.
And still talking security, the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, has tasked Turkish military partners on mutual respect, transparency and trust in their dealings with the Nigerian government. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was at the Nigeria-Turkey Defense Industries Cooperation Engagement in Abuja.
Recent events in the global military arena show that the strength of a nation is not determined solely by its acquired military might, but increasingly by its ability to design and produce critical defense equipment and technologies locally. This partly necessitated the Nigerian-Turkish Defense Industry Forum that seeks to deepen bilateral cooperation in defense production, technology transfer and investments.
Whatever we need to do, let us be sincere and honest and direct to whatever it is that benefits both countries. We don't want contractors that will go and overinflate issues and make it so difficult to acquire things that we could acquire for in large quantities, but because of personal interests, people go into it and we suffer as a country.
The central objective is to develop a defense industry that is increasingly capable of meeting requirements of armed forces while contributing to national, industrial and economic development.
We are not here for trade. We are not here for profit. Our main purpose here is to have strategic relations with Nigeria and in general in Africa.
For Nigeria, the partnership is aimed at strengthening local production, reducing dependency on imported military equipment, and enhancing the capacity of the Nigerian armed forces to respond effectively to emerging security challenges.
While at the event, the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, announced that the Turkish government has approved immediate training for more than 200 special Nigerian forces. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, has tasked his senior commanders on effective leadership as critical model to military success, particularly in an evolving security environment. The Army Chief stated this at the second Senior Command and Leadership Seminar to strengthen strategic leadership and command effectiveness among senior officers. Haruna Mohammed reports.
The Chief of Army Staff, senior commanders, serving and retired leadership, including the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Leo Arabo, converged at the Premier Division of the Nigerian Army for the second Senior Command and Leadership Seminar 2026. The seminar, themed Strategic Leadership for Effective Command in an Evolving Security Environment, is designed to deepen the leadership and capacity of senior commanders in line with the command philosophy of the Chief of Army Staff. He emphasized the need for strategic thinking, adaptability, prompt decision-making and effective coordination as military leaders confront increasingly complex security challenges.
Commanders should continuously assess how their actions may be perceived, misrepresented, or exploited, and ensure that operational decisions are supported by timely, accurate, and credible communication.
Also, as part of the visit, the Chief of Army Staff commissioned 12 flats of 2-bedroom and 6 flats of 3-bedroom married officers' quarters, as well as the Waidi Shaibu Critical Care Center, patient transit camp, and 2 helipads for easy deployment of patients at 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, Kaduna, first of its kind.
It shortens the time that it takes to get the soldier here in this reference hospital. And once you do that, you enhances his chance of survival.
This statue at the 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, Kaduna, exemplifies the sacrifices of the fighting force as they render first aid to an injured in disseminating the enemies of peace. They are heroes of the nation. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Well said. They are indeed heroes of the nation. Still talking on security. To achieve federal government's mandate in the area of maritime security and strategic vision of the Nigerian Navy, fleets must remain perpetually mission-ready, highly trained and tactically proficient. These were the words of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, at the conclusion of Exercise Littoral Fury combat skills training held at Bakassi local government area of Cross River State under the Eastern Naval Command. Maureen Leo Ajom has details.
Any mission-friendly force, just like the reputable Nigerian Navy, is built on unwavering discipline, professional excellence, and the continuous refinement of its tactical age. The judge concluded Exercise Littoral Fury at the Eastern Naval Command is one of such where participating gunboats, air assets and operational units had their weapon tested, evaluated inter-service communication protocols, and validated joint littoral maneuver doctrine. In the words of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, represented by the flag officer commanding the Central Naval Command, this seamless coordination displayed at Dayspring Island proves that the Eastern Naval Command is fully keen into the vision of maintaining operational superiority against crude oil theft, sea robbery, and all forms of maritime criminality across the nation's waters.
It's no doubt going to improve commerce, that's more revenue to the federal government, and safety of life. So the issue of kidnapping, abductions, harassment, and all of those things, they don't exist anymore.
Worthy of note is the fact that the site used for the exercise used to be one of the biggest militant camps. But today, the narrative has changed, as the Nigerian Navy now occupies the camp just by the Calabar Channel. The gains of this exercise is to achieve firing and hitting on target, as well as marksmanship principle, a fundamental combat skill. From Dayspring Island, Bakassi local government area of Cross River State, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
Away from Cross River, but we're not done with security matters, as the Nigeria Police Force National Cybercrime Center NPF-NCCC is stepping up its offensive against cyber fraud, impersonation and other technology-enabled crimes. The center says its latest operations have uncovered cases of romance scams, property fraud and police impersonation, among other cyber-related offences. Investigators also recovered more than 12.5 million victims' email logs linked to cases spanning over 50 countries, underscoring the growing transnational dimension of cybercrime.
Of 100 million naira from this criminal enterprise. A prima facie case of computer-related fraud, business email compromise, and identity theft, contrary to the Cybercrimes Prohibition Prevention Act 2024, has been established against the suspect. One Babatunde Olamilekon Idowu, aka CSP Bamishaye, was arrested for impersonating as a commissioner of police serving in the Force Intelligence Department, Abuja. And together with other members of his syndicate who are presently at large, claimed to be CP Bamishaye of the Force Intelligence Department, Abuja. The other members acted as the Inspector General of Police and the Attorney General of the Federation. In this process, the victim was extorted of the sum of 17 million naira. Interestingly, this suspect has a long history of police impersonation.
The NPF-NCCC is cautioning Nigerians against falling victim to fake investment platforms promoted through Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp. The center says its growing capacity in digital forensics, open source intelligence, financial investigation, network analysis and cryptocurrency tracing is helping investigators expose increasingly sophisticated cybercrime operations. It also stresses the importance of international cooperation, particularly through information sharing mechanisms, and that the Budapest Convention framework and the fight against transnational cybercrime. In the meantime, a social media influencer, Farouk Musa Muhammad, has been arraigned before a federal high court sitting in Abuja on a 4-count charge bordering on cyberbullying of the Defense Minister, General Christopher Musa. Farouk Musa Mohammed is alleged to have claimed that the Nigerian troop in the ongoing war against terror are losing their lives due to alleged failure of the Defense Minister and the serving chiefs to act appropriately. The defendant, who pleaded not guilty to all the counts, is also being alleged of accusing the legal advisor to the minister, Aliyu Anas, of misleading the defense minister in an attempt to get him fired by the presidency. The defendant, a 35-year-old Abuja-based, made these allegations on his TikTok handle between the period of 19th June to 17th July 2026. Upon pleading not guilty, the prosecution counsel, Fidelis Isong, urged the court to fix a date for the commencement of trial, while the defense counsel, Abdulkadri Ahmed, informed the court of a pending bail application which was yet to be served on the prosecution team.
And the highest institution in Nigeria is military. Are you accused of the defense headquarters, or you accused of the Minister of Defense, or you accuse all the chiefs that they are also part and parcel of this particular institution? I would dare say no, and the chiefs say no. Let's go to court because it is our right.
The presiding judge, Justice Obiora Egwata, adjourned the matter to September 9 for hearing on the bail application and ordered the remand of the defendant in Kuje Correctional Facility. Now, the renewed calls for the full inclusion of the IDPs ahead of the 2027 poll. This is coming on the heels of the perceived growing concern over the potential disenfranchisement of numerous internally displaced persons. Timothy Yusuf reports that the Independent National Electoral Commission, TAF Africa, and other electoral stakeholders are driving the move to reverse the growing trend.
Findings have estimated that more than 4.6 million Nigerians are displaced across Adamawa, Benue, Borno, and Kaduna states, with about 2.4 million potentially eligible to vote at age 18 and above, underscoring the scale of the electoral inclusion challenge ahead of the 2027 polls. Stakeholders gathered here argued that the displacement caused by conflict, insurgency, flooding and other humanitarian emergencies should not deprive citizens of their constitutional right to vote.
A democracy is strongest when every citizen can participate, regardless of disability, displacement, geography, gender, economic circumstance, or vulnerability.
Ensuring that meaningful electoral participation for internally displaced persons requires sustained mobilization, sensitization, coordination, and partnership. Together, we can strengthen public confidence.
INEC, the national and state emergency management agencies, camp managers, humanitarian organizations, civil society groups, and displaced communities are enjoined to develop a practical roadmap with clear responsibilities and timelines ahead of 2027 general election. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And still on the 2027 general election, as political parties commence campaign activities, security agencies across the country are ramping up efforts to ensure peaceful and credible process. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it will intensify the crackdown on drug abuse and trafficking during the election period. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, have assured Nigerians of adequate protection of lives and property throughout the campaigns and the election.
Ban on political campaigns for 2027 general elections being lifted, security agencies in Gombe State are strengthening preparations to maintain peace and protect citizens. The NDLEA says it will intensify efforts against drug abuse and trafficking while urging political actors and supporters to avoid drugs and actions that could fuel violence.
We are tasked from our headquarters, from our chairman, chief executive officer,
General Buba Marwa, he tasked all the state commanders to clear all the black spots in their states prior to this election.
The Nigeria Police Force and the NSCDC also speak of their preparedness to protect civilians and critical assets, working with other agencies to ensure peaceful and orderly campaigns and elections.
You can see that the youths are really determined to see that they are not engaged and they are not being used as pawns to achieve any cheap political objectives by anybody. So they are rising against thuggery and political violence.
Everybody should concentrate on the manifesto of his own political party instead of witch-hunting each other. They should do it. They should play the politics according to the game.
The agencies call on political parties, candidates, supporters, and the public to obey the law and support a peaceful electoral process. In Gombe, Talatu Lamon, NTA News.
Let's pause briefly. When we return, more news on News Extra. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. The federal government has announced the Tertiary Institutions National Laureate Prize, an initiative designed to recognize and reward outstanding academic research, innovation, and intellectual excellence across Nigeria's tertiary institutions, with an annual prize pool of approximately 365 million naira.
Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, says the prize being implemented by the Federal Ministry of Education in collaboration with the Nigeria Education Repository and Data Bank will recognize outstanding undergraduate dissertations, master's thesis, and PhD research with strong potential for commercialization, industrial application, and national development.
As a government, we believe that these young men and women and our distinguished academics deserve to be seen, supported, and celebrated. The National Laureate Prize is not simply another award program. It is an instrument for changing aspirations. We want Nigerian students to understand that there's honor in scholarship, opportunity in innovation, and national recognition for intellectual excellence.
Dr. Lausa further stressed that the credibility of the initiative will depend on a transparent, competitive, and merit-driven process, insulated from political or personal influence.
Away from education, let's talk business. And Benny is our man for that. Benny.
Thank you, Yeri. And talking business, Nigeria's ambassador to China. Nigeria's ambassador to China, Abdurrahman Dambazao, is urging Nigeria's business community to invest in value addition and scale up exports to the People's Republic of China using the zero tariff window. This is as he decries the disparity in balance of trade, where Nigeria imports roughly $13 to $16 billion worth of manufactured goods, while sending back just a fraction of about $2 to $3 billion, mostly in raw crude oil, solid minerals, and unprocessed agricultural commodities. This, the ambassador says, must shift.
Must encourage our people to come in, bring in goods, take advantage of this zero tariff, so that we can now increase, our exports into China, so that at least to some extent, try to balance. We can balance well because China is well ahead, as you know.
Network. We promote investment. Besides this, we publish in 2 other languages. We publish in French, we publish in Chinese language. In the meanwhile, during this movement, we have been able to attract billions of dollars to Nigeria.
The Foreign Investment Network, FIN, was at the embassy to introduce a group of investors ready to visit Nigeria as deals worth more than $100 billion were signed in China. Now, moving on, Nigerian entrepreneurs Nigerian youth that are into entrepreneurship have been asked to leverage opportunities contained in the Renewed Hope policy plans for youth. This is as Nigeria's business community is turning its focus to the next generation of industrial leaders. This was at the 2026 Summit of the Youth Arm of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Culture in Abuja. The two-day gathering brings together policymakers, investors, and business leaders from across the country to tackle the structural challenges facing small and medium-sized enterprises.
Young people need access, finance, market, jobs, mentorship, technology, business development support, international and apprenticeship, network and partnership, enterprise growth opportunity.
If you're a young person looking to leverage more, you can also be a part of the Nigerian Youth Investment Fund, which was restructured in 2024 with a fresh capital base of 110 billion naira for startups and early growth businesses.
Africa has committed to creating an inclusive single market. Nexus 2026, therefore, will equip our young SME operators to move beyond local borders, master regional value chains, and leverage the largest trade freight area in the world to build enduring wealth.
Now looking at the markets, at the end of trading today, the Nigerian Stock Exchange saw 49,116 handshakes, sealing deals as traders moved more than 733 million shares, passing 34.4 billion naira from the hand-to-hand compared to Monday's session. The market saw trading volume jumped by 10%, which is more shares exchanging hands. Cash flow was up by 45%, as well as the number of deals also climbed by 7%. Overall, the exchange entire value stands at a massive 154.1 trillion naira, which is equivalent to 115 billion US dollars. What this means for the economy is that investors' confidence is returning as money isn't just moving, but larger, serious capital is entering the market, signaling a medium to long-term confidence in corporate Nigeria. That is it on business for the midweek. Inyere, it's nice doing business with you.
It was a pleasure, Benny. Many thanks once again. Now, as Nigeria grapples with rising costs of food items, environmental degradation, and the growing impact of climate change, one historic community is proving that some of the best solutions may already be rooted in our past. Imagine a Nigeria where every street, school, church, and compound is lined with fruit-bearing trees, providing food, shade, income, and a cleaner environment. Oh, well, in Oloibiri community, Abuja local government area of Bayelsa State, that vision is not a dream. It is still a way of life. Ifoma Aikoje visited the area and brings us this report.
As food prices continue to soar and the effects of climate change become more evident, one community in Bayelsa State is quietly preserving a tradition that feeds families, protects the environment, and creates wealth. This is the story of the historic Oloibiri community in Obia local government area where coconut, mango, pear, orange and other economic trees flourish in family compounds and line village streets. Beyond their scenic beauty, these trees provide fresh fruits, natural shade, cleaner air, and an additional source of income for many households.
This is so refreshing. And this is what it used to feel like visiting the villages in the past.
It is part of their livelihood. When those things are ripe, they pluck them and sell them. And more so, what we breathe out is what the trees breathe in, while what they breathe out is what we breathe in. So of a great benefit to us.
And my daddy planted them. This our side. Most people like to drink the water way. So we just plant. Sometimes maybe you want to chop.
There was a time when many Nigerian homes depended on the fruits growing right in their backyards. Children returned from school to climb mango trees. Families harvested coconuts during celebrations, and neighbors freely shared their abundance from their gardens. Today, that tradition is gradually giving way to expanding concrete structures and shrinking green spaces. Yet, environmental experts insist that economic trees remain indispensable for food security, biodiversity conservation, erosion control, and climate resilience.
Okilo, one-time governor of Old River State, told us that if you cut one tree, plant 3 to replace that one.
Here now in the Niger Delta, where our growing cycle is now around 6 to 8 months because of the flood situation. So we come up with climate resilience, agriculture.
Planting an economic tree is not just an act of environmental conservation. It's an investment in health, nutrition, family income, and the future. So, plant a tree today and reap the benefits through the years to come. From Oloibri community, Obia local government area of Bayelsa State, Ifoma Ihoje, NTN News.
Well said, Ifoma. I envy you, by the way. Coconut cost a fortune in Abuja. Now, from floods to other climate-related disasters, communities across Nigeria continue to bear the devastating impact of natural hazards despite ongoing mitigation efforts. Increasingly, technology is emerging as a tool not only for responding to disasters, but also for detecting early warning signs before they occur. It is against this backdrop that journalists are being equipped with remote sensing and satellite data skills to strengthen disaster and climate reporting. Yahanasu Hassan Barao reports is courtesy of Solution Journalism Initiative.
Climate change is no longer a distant threat. Across the world, rising temperatures and increasingly frequent extreme weather events are disrupting livelihoods, destroying infrastructure and claiming lives. In Nigeria, flooding has become an almost annual occurrence. Communities continue to experience widespread devastation as homes are washed away, farmlands are submerged, families are displaced, and in many cases, lives are lost. According to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, floods in 2025 affected 128 local government areas across 27 states. About 459,957 people were impacted, 158,588 displaced, and 241 people lost their lives. The floods also damaged more than 54,000 houses and nearly 97,000 farmlands, highlighting the growing vulnerability of communities to climate-related disasters. Flooding is only one of several climate-related disasters becoming more frequent and severe, yet much of media coverages remains reactive, focusing on destruction after disasters occur, instead of helping audiences understand emerging risks and available early warning information. To address this gap, journalists from different media organizations are undergoing specialized training in the use of Earth observation tools, remote sensing, and satellite imagery for climate change reporting, disaster journalism, and investigative reporting.
We need new adaptation strategies that are novel, and that is why we think that inviting journalists and the media practitioners to attend the workshop will be able to do their own reporting, documentation, and investigations, which will support the government, the civil society.
Beyond disaster reporting, participants are also learning how satellite data can be used in monitoring environmental changes, verify government projects, and track land use patterns to compare historical records with present realities.
We deal with farming communities and environment. So this is a great opportunity for me to tell the story better in a way that it can be understood by farmers and laymen.
We are the ones fighting to get these trains on ourselves. So I am very happy that suddenly we are being inclusive.
The training demonstrates that technology can strengthen journalism by moving reporting beyond documenting disasters to providing evidence-based information that helps explain risk, improve accountability, and support preventive action.
As per challenges, I think already I have
contact with many journalists who are my friends, so that makes it simple. But I think the main challenge is to convince the journalists to understand that they also have an important role to play in demystification of knowledge.
As climate change continues to intensify the frequency and impact of disasters, initiatives like this are encouraging a shift in journalism from reporting the aftermath of disasters to using technology and evidence to help communities understand risk and prepare before disasters occur. Yahana Sahasambaro, NTA News.
Let's head to Jigawa now, as the state government has inaugurated a 38-member committee to coordinate the hosting of the 41st National Quranic Recitation Competition, scheduled to hold in Dutse in November this year. The committee, inaugurated at the Council Chamber of the Government House, Dutse, is chaired by the Commissioner for Higher Education, Professor Isa Yusuf Chamo. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
Nauma Namadi said the committee members were selected based on merits and competence. The governor charged them to oversee all aspects of the competition and ensure its successful conduct. He also tasked the committee with mobilizing funds from the states and local governments, corporate organizations and individuals within and outside Jigawa State, as well as providing prizes for winners and participants.
To oversee the organization, arrangement and conduct of the National Quranic Recitation Competition in all its aspects. To source funds from the state government and the local government, corporate bodies and individuals within and outside the state to support the successful conduct of the exercise.
The chairman of the committee, Professor Isa Yusuf Chamo, appreciated the state government for the confidence reposed in them. Represented by the co-chairman, Dr. Lawan Yunus Adanzomo, assured that the committee would do everything possible to ensure a successful hosting of the 41 National Quranic Recitation Competition in Dutse, Jigawa State. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Let's take a breather. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for remaining with us. A cherished voice in country music has gone quiet. The best-selling female country artist of all time, Dolly Parton, known for her timeless hits like Jolene and Coat of Many Colors, passed away at 80 following a battle with cancer. Here's a tribute to the country music legend by correspondent Ekemini Williams.
She made my coat of many colors that I was so proud of.
She came from a one-room cabin in the Smoky Mountains with nothing but a guitar, big dreams, and a voice that could break your heart and put it back together in the same song.
So with patches on my breeches, holes in both my shoes, in my coat of many colors, well, I hurried off to school.
Dolly Parton didn't just become a superstar. She became family to millions. For more than 6 decades, Dolly has been the thread connecting country music to pop, Hollywood to the front porches of Tennessee, and glitter to grit, with her rhinestones, her wit, and that unmistakable laugh. She turned being underestimated into an art form and then used it to lift everyone else up with her.
A lot of the mothers thought that I was a bad influence on their kids, and I wasn't really doing all the stuff I looked like that I would be doing.
And I'm all about standing up for the ones that need to be stood up for.
From Jolene to 9 to 5, I Will Always Love You, to Coat of Many Colors, her songs are more than just hits. They are diaries, they are lullabies, they are protest songs and love letters written with a mountain accent. She has written over 3,000 songs and made vulnerability sound like strength. Cry in one verse and make you laugh in the next.
You might think you know me, but I might surprise you.
What makes Dolly unforgettable isn't just the music, it's what she did with the platform. Through the Dollywood Foundation's Imagination Library, she has mailed more than 250 million free books to children.
Don't try to be what somebody else wants you to be. You just listen to your heart. To be respected for what you do, you need to be appreciated for what you do. When you're in a position to help, you should, especially if something happens in your own home area.
During the pandemic, she helped fund COVID-19 vaccine research. She has been called a national treasure.
To present this Lifetime Achievement Award to Dolly Parton.
Dolly called me and said she wants to rest in a beautiful bed of plush cotton because after a life wearing heavy rhinestones, she finally deserves to be comfortable and have some rest. Rest in peace, Aunt Dolly, Aunt Granny, Gigi. May God bless Dolly Parton, and may God bless you all. She will always love you.
In Abuja, Kemini Williams, NTA News.
Rest well in your coat of many colors, Dolly. We'll take a break now. When we come back, sports news. Stay with us.
Time to talk sports. Let's begin from the grains. As the Nigeria Golf Federation Summit has opened in Abuja with a technical session, bringing together captains and competition secretaries from golf clubs across the country. Discussions focused on grassroots development, age-grade competitions, and creating pathways for aspiring professionals to achieve their career dreams. Participants also considered a uniform handicap system, national rankings, and other reforms aimed at aligning Nigeria's golf administration with international standards set by the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St. Andrews.
Some of you even organize birthday parties, birthday kitties, than even proper development of golf. Some of you don't even have anything to do with youth development or academy.
Every club must run an open championship every year, and that's the job of the captain. So the state associations, they are supposed to veer more into clinics, grassroots golf.
Let's talk football now, as the Nigeria Premier Football League has secured a major financial boost ahead of the new season, with the league board signing a 3-year deal worth $7.5 million with Euromatch. The agreement unveiled in Abuja will see the NPFL receive $2.5 million annually, with stakeholders expecting the partnership to drive the growth of domestic football. The ceremony featured the unveiling of the rebranded NPFL logo as the new season kicks off Friday.
For everything we do, 60% straight to the clubs. That's our agreement. This must be reflective in the welfare of the footballers.
And we're going to do our best, not just to sponsor the league. We're going to use our platform to show the NPFL to European fans.
To league football now, outside Nigeria, as Real Madrid brushed aside visitors Real Sociedad 4-1 this night at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in the postponed first round of the Spanish League. Francis Kylian Mbappe broke the deadlock in the 40th minute. Croatia's Lucas Sucic leveled for Sociedad 4 minutes later, only for Mbappe to restore the lead in the 59th minute. Brazil's Vinicius Jr. made it 3 in the 60th minute before Mbappe completed his personal treble and the team's fourth in the 80th minute. Talking volleyball now, as Nigeria survived a tough test from Ghana, edging their West African rivals 3-2 in a thrilling Group C match at the 2026 Africa Senior Women's Nations Volleyball Championship in Kenya. The Nigerians won the first and third sets 25-21 and 25-11, but Ghana fought back to take the second and fourth sets 25-21 and 25-11. The deciding fifth set went down to the wire, with Nigeria holding their nerve to win 18-16 and secure a crucial victory. Nigeria will face Cameroon in their final group match on Thursday, August the 27th. That does it on Sports Tonight. Let's now return to Yere.
Well, thanks, Badi Adile. Now, President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sadness over the sudden death of Dotun Oladipo, publisher of the Eagle Online and former political editor of The Punch. President Tinubu describes the passing of the 56-year-old as a painful loss to Nigeria's media industry and the nation at large. He acknowledges Oladipo's years of dedicated service in political reporting and his commitment to providing Nigerians with credible information through both traditional and digital platforms. He notes that the journalist's work strengthened democracy by informing citizens and holding public officials accountable. He extends heartfelt condolences to the family, colleagues and friends and prays that Almighty God grants him eternal rest and give his loved ones the strength to bear the irreparable loss. Similarly, the Nigerian Guild of Editors says it received with profound sadness the news of the passing of Dr. Samson Dotun Oladipo, a gentleman, distinguished journalist, former newspaper editor and publisher of Eagles Online. In a statement, the Nigerian Guild of Editors says, in a career spanning several decades, Dr. Oladipo distinguished himself through professionalism, courage, intellectual depth, and an unwavering commitment to the principles of journalism and nation building. His contributions to journalism and the media industry left an indelible mark. The statement says, as a former publisher of an online publication, he was deeply committed to the growth and development of the Nigerian media and the digital landscape. And that concludes News Extra tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it. Do have a good night.